Hi, everyone. Welcome to Here for the Health of It podcast. Thanks for listening. We have a great episode coming up. We have attorney Marc Brown, and we get into all the things that he's doing right now. We get into his social media. We talk about all his some of his big cases, his cars, and Tom gets some advice on what to get his wife for Valentine's Day. So thanks for listening. Check us out, Here for the Health of It podcast, anywhere you find podcasts. Hi, everyone. Welcome to Here for the Health of It podcast. I'm Dr. Randy, here with Dr. Tom. As always, thanks for listening. Thanks for sharing our stuff. You can find us on Here for the Health of It podcast on Instagram or anywhere else on YouTube. We're doing a bunch of YouTube shorts, different things like that, so you can see us there. We have a great guest today. We've had this scheduled for several months now. Lots of people don't know. We're scheduling guests for months and months because we're the hottest podcast in Columbia and sexiest podcast. So we have Marc J. Brown. So you're an attorney. You own your own law firm here in Columbia. You're a big deal. I've been following you on social media for a little while.
Well, thank you.
So tell us a little bit about yourself. Tell us where you're from, how you got into being a lawyer, and then how much you can bench press.
All right, man. I'm gonna say the bench press for last.
Sorry, I didn't know if you'd lead with that or end with that.
Oh no, the response it's pretty sad. So, but nah. So I'm from Sumter, South Carolina. Okay. Nice. Grew up there. My father, he was Air Force at Shaw Air Force Base. My mom was a grade school teacher. Mm-hmm. So after that, I came to Columbia, go Gamecocks for undergrad. Law school, I wanted to venture out. So then I went to Emory Law over in Atlanta, started working there.
Pull that way so when you talk to us.
Oh, there we go. Yeah, I'm new to all of this. I'm the rookie at the table. But yeah, so I started practicing there, and I ended up back here in South Carolina, and I ended up opening my own law firm.
It's a big deal to open your own law firm.
It was scary.
It seems like it's expensive, and it's hard to get clients when you're brand new.
It's hard. I think it's hard for a lot of people to get clients. But when I opened up my firm, I come from a marketing background. Didn't go to school for marketing, but I always tell the story. Like, I was not the attractive guy in high school or growing up. So, to get the ladies, you had to have personality. You had to have the gift of gab.
You had sales.
Trust me, I know that world too.
Looking at my wife now. I don't know how I pulled that off, but hey. But then when I got to University of South Carolina, I was a frat boy, got into club and party promotions. So I had to market, I had to sell. So now when I started my law firm, I was like, all right, I knew I was going to start at about 6 months before I did it. So I just did all my research. I started putting a slow word out there. And then the day I opened, I hit the ground running.
Really?
And it grew fast. Like, I don't know. I really want to see. I wish there was a way I could find the numbers for other law firms. Right. But it was like 3 years in, and I already grew the practice to a multi-million-dollar law firm. And it's like low staff. It's like, I don't know. The growth has been crazy.
Wow. And you were just hyping yourself. That's how you did it.
Yeah. Grassroots. Just sold myself, and then I remember I started my first billboard, and I was so excited when it went up. I went and pulled off on the side of the road. I probably almost got hit by a couple cars. I'm like, wow, I'm up there. And like now, people are telling me, I just saw a new billboard. Like, I don't even know. There's like 50, 60, 70 things around the state.
It doesn't matter. After a little while, it doesn't matter anymore. You get used to it. Yeah. Tom had a billboard once.
I did the same thing you did too. I was like, this is great. Did you put your face on it?
Oh, yeah. My face is all on that thing.
You got to put your face on everything.
Yeah. It's the marketing aspect.
Tom didn't even have what the business was. It was literally just a big picture of his face.
Smiling. That's all you need. Just call me. I'm happy. Come be happy with me. And like my own. And so, and when I took my first picture for the billboard, this is probably one of the things. I'm like, hey, you know what? Let's go back and edit that and take that out. But nah, let's roll with it. Let's see how it goes. Yeah. But like my beard didn't even connect. It struggles to connect now. So the dude that did my picture, he had to like edit and Photoshop my beard to fill it in. But so it was a long struggle building a law firm, but it was a bigger struggle growing a beard.
Yeah. Well, you have a really groomed mustache. But then you're longer along the chin strap area.
Yeah, I'm trying.
Is that the look, or that just how it grows in?
That's how it grows in. And then also the longer the hair, the less you can see how thin it is and how this is a struggle, man. Yeah. It's a struggle.
You put any product in it or what?
Yeah, some stuff that I don't even know. Some stuff
like
I got
a nice
Target.
little oil.
Yeah.
Nice.
In fact, it's Jack Black. It's Jack Black
oil
I use for it.
Okay. How'd you find it? Someone recommended it to you?
I'll just walk through the store, just picking out
decided
different
on
stuff, and it
Yeah.
smelled good.
Okay. Today's episode is brought to you by our sponsor, Columbia Family Chiropractic, with 3 easy-to-get-to locations, one in Forest Acres, which is by Trader Joe's, one in O'Neill Court by the DMV, and one in the Northeast by Sand Hills. You'll be sure to have somewhere near you. They offer a ton of services from corrective care, on-site digital x-rays, spinal decompression for bulging or herniated discs, dry needling for injuries, pediatric care, and a Class 4 laser. They accept all your major insurances. And if you mention this ad, you'll get a discount on your first appointment. Check out their website at cfc4health.com or Google Columbia Family Chiropractic. That's cfc4health.com.
So what's your favorite type of case? Like what's if people are listening, what cases should they reach out to you for?
So we handle all type of injury cases, except for medical malpractice and products liability. Whenever I get those calls, I have a great team, a great network of lawyers I can get those clients to.
Nice.
But personally, in-house, of course, you have the standard auto collision. That's
Right.
those are, that's the main practice area. But I really like crime victims and dog bites. Because in South Carolina,
Really?
people don't really know that when you're the
Right.
victim of a crime, you may be able to receive compensation. I started practicing in
Good point.
Atlanta, and that's a huge practice in Atlanta, huge. But South Carolina is not as common. But we've had some.
I would have never thought about it. So dog bites, you can get compensated for that.
Yeah.
Is it depending about how bad the injury was, or
No, so there's 2 parts to every injury case. You got your liability and you got your damages. It's more complex than that, but just simply put, like, did somebody do something dumb? Did they do something wrong? And how bad were you injured? So liability, damages. Dog bites, it's liability, no matter what. Strict liability
For
is
sure.
called. It don't care if you had it's a show dog. It's never bit anybody. It eats out
Right.
of your hand. Then one day it's having a bad day and it bites somebody. You're at fault. So the damage is how much you're able to recover. It just depends on how bad the damage is. So,
interesting?
And there's pit bulls everywhere in South Carolina.
yes.
I came from Canada. That's where I grew up. And
Okay.
pit bulls basically aren't allowed anywhere.
Really?
Yep. It's just like a city rule in almost all the big cities.
Super soft. Canadians are super
Yes.
soft. They have to have, like-
They're also not allowed to the guns. They're not allowed to have pepper spray. There's nothing allowed in Canada.
I can't say that's a bad thing. I can't say
Oh.
the way things are looking now. But yeah, and the thing, pit bulls get such a bad rap.
hmm
Because a lot of times the bites are pit bulls, or I'll
Right.
say mixed breed of pit bulls. So there's not really the pit bulls is like these breeders who just breed their dogs or whatever.
Right.
And don't take care of the dogs. They don't
Mhm.
feed them. They hurt them, hit them, train
Fight
them to
them?
fight. Yeah,
Yes.
train them to fight. And those dogs, pit bulls are very powerful animals. But when they're raised right, raised just like other dogs,
Yeah.
biggest baby. I had a pit bull that was 120 pounds. The biggest baby wouldn't hurt a squirrel.
That's what I've heard. Well, so I've had this argument all the time.
Yeah.
Where Yorkies or these little dogs, Chihuahuas maybe,
Oh, they're
bite
violent.
way more often than a pit bull. But
Okay.
my argument is always I could take a Chihuahua with my eyes closed.
Yeah.
He might get a bite off, but not much more. But a pit bull, I don't know what I would do against a pit bull.
Nah, there's not much you can do.
I would. What do you recommend? Just go into a fetal position?
I don't even have a recommendation.
No, you just say it's over, and I hope this person has a lot of money to compensate me for it.
I hope you're in a
Stay
really good. I
alive.
hope you're in a really good neighborhood when it happened, because that's how the compensation comes.
Yes.
Homeowners insurance.
Okay.
So if you're in a neighborhood where the houses are older, so it's less likely that they're required to have homeowners insurance.
Right.
Your SOL, like,
Is it really?
yeah, I've seen some horrific bites, and there's no money to recover because
Yeah,
there's no homeowner
that-
insurance.
So what do you look into? Because I always wondered that if there's an issue that you come across that you think like this is something I should be able to sue over, but I think in our mind it's like, well, the cost of suing somebody versus what I'm going to get back. How do you know or determine? Is there any sort of formula to know like it's worth going down that rabbit hole?
Yes. So when you take on a case, you already know, like, for different types of cases, the average of costs, expenses that go into that case. And then you look at the damages. If somebody has seriously been injured or unfortunately lost their life, no matter what, you're going to try to look and see what you can do for that person or what you can do for their family.
Right.
So that's a case you're always going to take because we want to help people.
Yeah, yeah.
And we figure it out during the process. But that's why I say, if anything bad ever happens to someone, if you ever injured, call a lawyer. You don't always need to hire a lawyer, but you always need to call a lawyer.
What makes it a nice like cookie cutter case for you guys? Like, what are the things that you look for? I would imagine like a lot of evidence. So video and statements from people, and what are like if I got in an accident, I know I take photos, but is there anything I should do to like flag down other cars or?
So if and this is like it's a weird situation because if you've been really injured, it's hard
to do anything.
It's hard to do anything.
Yeah.
But if you can, or if somebody is with you and is able to, the best scenario would be photographs of the damage to your vehicle and the other vehicle at the accident scene. Photos of the scene so you can see kind of the placement of vehicles.
Yeah.
Anybody that stops, getting their name, their phone number, because law enforcement is supposed to do that. When you get an accident, you get a form called an FR10 form, and then it goes into a full collision report, TR310, and it has a spot where you can list out witnesses. Most often, the officers don't put the witnesses' information.
Right.
I have people hit me up on Facebook all the time saying, "Hey, I saw this accident, and I tried to give her my report to the officer, but the officer wouldn't take my information."
What?
Yeah.
So more work for him, right?
That's insane.
More paperwork.
Yeah.
But I see it all too often.
There's a phenomenon that I'm noticing with both dog bites and car accidents.
Okay.
The first one was my uncle, who's also a lawyer. He was in LA and now he practices in Nevada, but he's a medical malpractice lawyer. But dogs, for some reason, bite him. A dog will be
Just
walking.
bad energy.
Yeah, well, a dog will be walking and like the dog will be like nice to me, nice to someone else, and then it just bites his hand for no reason, and he loses his mind. And they're like, I don't understand. My dog's been perfectly fine. They like go just sniff everybody else, and then they just gave him a bite. And I don't know if maybe he has nervous energy around them because he got bit before. But are you finding that there's some people who just constantly are getting bit?
No.
Okay, that's all right. Throw that one out the window.
I mean, accidents.
But accidents, the other one, because I have people coming in all the time where they're getting in accidents, but it's never their fault. But I'm like, there's no way that you've gotten 4 accidents in the last 3 years that weren't your fault, and you're not doing something to make it happen.
Now that phenomenon, yeah. All right, so people automatically assume that they can get in their car and just drive, and everybody is supposed to drive appropriately.
Yeah.
They don't have to do anything. They just have to drive. You have to be a defensive driver.
Yeah.
When my wife, she hates it, but she also loves it when we're driving. I'm watching cars like, hey, those two, they're going to run a red light. Light change. Like, I'm watching. I'm constantly looking in my rearview mirror. I might swerve off the side of the road. She's like, "What's wrong with you? What are you doing?" I said, "Watch." And all of a sudden, you hear the brakes screeching. So I saw the car coming, and they weren't slowing down. Yeah. It's like you have to be a defensive driver. You just can't be in there jamming to the radio and just going. Also, reaction time. Often we'll get in a car accident, and so every car has like a little black box, so you can download the data from that vehicle and see what was going on leading up to the collision.
Really?
Yes. So
what's on that? Like just speed and
how the amount of acceleration, how much gas you're giving it, whether your brakes are applied, whether headlights are on, whether your seatbelt was on, the degree of the steering wheel, so where they like somebody's drunk, they started swerving more. So you can gain a lot of information from that. And what I'll see is the other car will never put on their brakes. So like, oh, they pulled out in front of me. I mean, they pulled out, but why didn't you hit your brakes, man?
Right.
And it's like you're not being a defensive driver, and people are, I won't say they're causing accidents, but they're allowing accidents to happen.
Yeah.
So
is your wife a pretty good driver?
This recording? Yes.
My wife, was a trap. That was kind of a trap. You passed.
My wife is an amazing driver. My wife is a pretty good driver. And all right, so we got so she has this vehicle, and I never paid attention to it. I hardly ever drive her car. And I met one of my buddies at Starbucks the other day. And I promise this is not a Starbucks advertisement because I'm actually drinking Starbucks right now. But anyway, and he's like, "Man, what happened over here? What happened to these wheels?" I'm like, "What?" So I go around to the passenger side. The wheels are all ate up and grounded from her.
In the curb?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So she's a good driver. Parallel parking and stuff like that. Nah, she just needs a valet.
Yep.
Like parallel parking is too expensive.
That's good. I can see that. You have to budget. It was part of when I was getting married. Somebody told me like just budget in. You gotta pay for some tires. You gotta pay for
rims.
Yep.
It's like, gosh, I love you, honey. If you watch this.
So do you recommend? I've seen a lot of people doing the car cams.
Yeah, I'm actually looking at starting to like all my clients when we close the cases out, just giving them a camera,
Really?
a dash camera.
Oh.
I think dash cameras are very helpful.
Right.
I have a buddy actually in Sumter, and he got into a car accident. A piece of Papa John's delivery man ran a stop sign, and my client T-boned him.
Yeah.
So looking at it, it's kind of hard to tell who's at fault or what happened. But then he had a dash camera, so you clearly see this guy run the stop sign and cause the accident. So we were able to get a pretty good recovery on that case. The dash cameras will help you.
That's what I was wondering. If it should I'm wondering if that's a move that vehicles are looking at to do, just to put some sort of camera inside of them. Because are they like in a nice car? It'd be weird to have just a big dash cam up there.
Yeah, and then most cars have like the parking cameras.
Yeah.
So it's right there front. There has to be some way that you can put a lens that's they have lens like the ballpoint pen.
Right.
There should be a way that they can put cameras in there where you can't really see it, and it doesn't make it's not unsightly. And of course, you want it to be facing out. You don't really want it facing in because there's privacy issues of always having a camera on you. But yeah, it's something I think that'll eventually come about.
Then the government will know everywhere that you go.
Everywhere. I mean, they already do.
You got a cell phone with you. What does it matter?
Phone, and then I'm talking about the little black box in your car to eat it. No, I'm pretty sure I know it does. GPS capabilities.
Where you're going?
Right.
Really?
So yeah,
They're
Big Brother's
selling
watching.
that information for sure. So
Facebook.
ultimately, I guess in this case too, so who does decide who's at fault? Like say it's one of those that both people are just, and no dash cams, it's just the two of you. Like Randy got in an accident in Atlanta. Didn't you get hit in Atlanta?
Yeah,
the guy
I did.
adamantly said it was Randy's fault.
It was my fault.
Yeah.
And he started ripping. Okay, so this is crazy. So it was we're driving down a one way.
Okay.
And then we're turning left onto another one way. So he's in the far left lane turning left, but you stay in your own lane, and then I'm in the next one and I stay in my own lane. Well, he doesn't stay in his own lane. He just drives straight into the back of my vehicle. So we get out and it's downtown Atlanta. It's a Sunday at probably 11 a.m. And there's not that many people around, but he gets out and it was one of those really old, those old Ford Ranger trucks that they don't make anymore that are tiny. And his bumper was already hanging off before he ran into me. But he's like, this is your fault. You ran into me. I'm like, this doesn't make sense. He's like, fine, we'll wait here all day for the cops then. And I was like, all right, I guess we'll wait here for the cops. And then he starts ripping his bumper off of his vehicle. I'm like, dude, you can't do that.
Did you have your cell phone out recording?
Yeah, I was taking, so then he was like, you can't be that. I'm like, dude, you can't be ripping your bumper off of your vehicle. He's like, well, you caused this. And he rips it off and puts it in the back of his truck where there's like mounds of scrap metal and trash and stuff like that. So we're sitting there and my wife's just sitting there, like, she doesn't care. She's just like reading on her book or whatever. And I'm back there dealing with this guy. And then he goes and pee, it's all cement downtown. And he goes and he just starts peeing in the corner of the building. And I was like, who is this guy and what's going to happen to me right now? So basically we sat there for an hour and a half, waited for the cops. Nobody came, sat there for 2 hours, no cops. And the guy's like kind of in my ear, like, no way the cops are coming, man. No way the cops are coming, but I'll sit here all day and I don't care. We'll sit here together. And I was like, what do I do in this situation? So I literally sat there for 2 hours, cops nowhere to be found. And I was like, I don't know what to do, but I'm not sitting in downtown Atlanta for the next 7 hours.
Yeah.
So he's like, well, what do you want to do, man? And I was like, let's just write something up. I'll do like a no fault. Like we'll just say no fault, and then I would rather just be gone than that. So I started writing out this thing on a piece of paper, and it was like 3 cents. It was something like, I agree to a no fault. I agree that I'm not injured. I agree that like neither of us will press charge, blah, blah, blah. Like did this whole, and he's like, dude, you're sitting there, you're writing a book? You're writing a book, man? Or what? I'm like, dude, what are you I'm just writing down a basic. He's like, quit writing a book. Why are you writing a book? And I was like, I don't know what's happening right now, but I'm in downtown Atlanta, this chaos. And then And then he just signed it, and he was like, I'll be fine with this if you give me some money. I was like, I don't think that feels right.
No.
And
No.
and he's like, well, no, I just need some money. And I was like, dude, you just ran into me, and now you're not getting in trouble, and now you want money. He's like, we'll sit here all day for the cops. We'll sit here all day for the cops. And I was like, all right. He's like, how about just $100 and then we'll be done? And I was like, no, I'm not doing that. He was like, all right, how about $20? And I was like, here's $20. See you later.
All right. So that's one of the things where you got to weigh out your time versus the cost.
Right.
And so I'm
how did I handle that?
That's not how
Not
I
great.
would advise.
Would you have stayed there for 5 more? The cops
hell no.
literally,
No.
the cops stayed there the cops called me 4 hours later. So I was already home. I waited for 2 hours. Then I drove back to Columbia 3 hours. And then the cops called me an hour after I got home and said, are you guys still here?
No. So in Atlanta, I don't know when that happened, but recently they put it out. I think it was like during COVID or right after COVID. They're not coming unless there's injuries, unless there's some good injuries.
Okay.
Like just write it up. They're not coming. But what you want to do?
Wait, who writes it up? I write it up?
Yeah, and
Just like I did.
yeah,
sort
like
of.
you did. Sort
I
of.
read a book.
I
on a
know in
piece of paper.
South Carolina, because I practice law in Georgia and South Carolina, and I haven't had that issue come up in Georgia. In South Carolina, there's actually a form that you can fill out, like a self.
On your phone?
No, you have to go at home and print it out.
Okay.
But this is what you do to lead up to it: exchange information.
Yeah.
Insurance card and driver's license.
Yep.
If they're willing to give you a picture, and
Which he
both
was
do.
not.
Yeah. But then he had a tag on his car, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I took lots of pictures.
So as long as you got a picture of his tag, that's all
Yeah.
you need. And let me tell you why you had a good case. Well,
As
first
he's,
let's talk about
he's ripping off his bumper.
because he's ripping off his bumper and he decided to go urinate on the sidewalk.
Right. That's what threw me off.
Like if I ever have a client like, yeah, he hit me and I don't know who was at fault. And then he just starts peeing. I'm like, he peed? Did you get that on video? I mean, don't zoom in or
Right,
anything,
yeah.
but you got that. Okay. Come on, I can help you out.
Yep.
But yeah, as long as you have that, if you have his tag, that's all his information.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I don't know if he had insurance. There's
Yeah.
probably a good chance he did not have insurance.
That's okay. It's okay if they don't have insurance because you have a South Carolina policy, right?
Yeah.
Insurance.
Yeah.
So in South Carolina, every personal auto policy has what's called uninsured motorist coverage. So if someone hits you and they don't have insurance, or they hit you and they flee the scene, you don't know who it was, your
You get
insurance
covered.
company will cover
Really?
up to whatever amount is contracted.
For medical costs and for repairing
Bodily-
your vehicle.
Bodily injury and property damage.
Yeah.
Yep.
Good. What's a typical policy for that?
Minimum limits in South Carolina and Georgia is $25,000 per
Really?
person, $50,000 per accident, and then $25,000 for property damage.
Got it.
Dang, that's good. So in that scenario, if that ended up going to court, who actually ends up saying, like, who decides who's at fault?
Well,
If it's just word to word.
so even if an officer came out there and put the other guy at fault, even if that happens, it's up to the jury to really decide fault. You can agree to fault, but like to really decide fault is up to the jury. It's a lawyer's job to persuade the insurance company to agree that their other person was at fault. That type of accident, since they hit you in the rear, it's kind of, when you get hit in the rear, it's kind of hard to say you're at fault.
Yes.
But I'm glad you said the rear instead of like a side swipe, because those are like the hardest accidents.
Right.
There's multiple lanes you're driving. Who's swerved into whose lane?
Right.
Like, without witnesses, without video, I mean, anybody could say, nah, they swerved in my lane. So,
Right.
So do you ever, like, say you're at fault, you screwed up. Do you recommend keeping your mouth closed if you're the person that hit him? Like, I think the right thing to do is like, yeah, my fault. Like,
Right.
But then
I would just go say, I'm so sorry about that.
yeah, like,
yeah.
If it was my fault, I would take.
yeah. But
You
is
know.
that the right thing? I don't know what.
I don't think it is, man. I think it's, if you think you're at fault, you can apologize, because apology is not saying that you were at fault. Like, man, you say, I'm sorry this happened. I'm sorry. But let it get investigated first. Certain times you were at fault. But in certain times you might not know.
Right. You think you are, but you're not.
You
maybe.
think you are, but you're
That's
not.
true.
And often people are like, yeah, they said I was at fault, I can't recover. And I was like, let me see the pictures of the damage to your vehicle. Let me see that. This is the accident scene. And I can look, from doing this so long, I can look at the damage on the vehicle and kind of get an idea of what happened, how it happened, and like, no, you weren't at fault for this.
But they can
Yeah.
get you if you give a statement that says, "Yeah, that was my fault."
Yes.
Basically, you don't want to say that.
You don't want to say that. Don't want to say that on record. They're recorded statements. Don't give a recorded statement until you've spoken with a lawyer. Insurance companies are going to call you quick and they're going to try to get a recorded statement. That insurance company is not there to help you. They're there to save their company the most money possible.
Right.
So if they're talking to you, they're going to want you to say something that puts the fault on you and off of the other person. They're going to want you to say something that shows you're not that hurt, you weren't injured that badly. They just want to take as much liability off of their company as possible. Really, the liability is on their insured person, but they're the ones on the hook for paying for that insured person. So like that's the worst thing. When you get a case and you're like, oh, this is a good case, and you sign it up and you're talking to people and they're like, oh yeah, I already talked to the insurance company and I get a recorded statement, but I didn't say anything wrong. Oh, here we go.
Right.
So got to get a copy of that, read over it, because those words, it's like was that Law and Order? Everybody watches that thing. Everything you say can and will be used against you. It's the same in the civil.
Yeah. It's you just don't people don't think of using lawyers for car accidents as often as they should. I don't think. They're like, hey, I talked to my insurance company. They said they're gonna cover it. And I'm like, well, your insurance company's full-time job is not paying money for things that they should pay money for. And you're just this person who's been paying into it for years, hoping that they're going to do what they should do. But there's no really downside to getting a lawyer, right? If you get in a car accident, because they're like, oh, I don't want to be a pain. I don't want to sue the person. There's all these things that they feel get like a nuisance if they get a lawyer.
Right. Yeah, they will never be a nuisance. One, the first thing is like, oh, I don't have the money to hire a lawyer. Well, injury lawyers like myself, it's contingency fee. Our clients don't pay us anything ever. Nothing, a dollar never comes out of our clients' pockets to pay us. Oh God, I might need an injury lawyer. Like our clients never pay us. The money comes from the insurance company when we're able to recover. And the only time we earn an attorney's fee is when we win money for our clients.
Yeah.
So it's never a downside to the clients. Also going to be a bother. One, you're never going to be a bother to a lawyer. We need our phones to ring. We're here to help people. Also to the other people involved, you don't want to be involved. Once you hire a lawyer, we do all the work for you. So you don't do anything. You focus on getting better.
Right. You go get better.
Yeah. We don't want you to stress. I want your focus to be on getting better and living your life and trying to get to a point like this never happened, because we wish it had never happened. But all of the communications with the insurance company, anybody, law enforcement, we do that for the person. Yep.
Yeah. And is there a certain type of provider? What does it look like for a person who's going to get better? Because I know there's a lean process where the lawyer will send something to if they go to the hospital, they send something to the hospital or the chiropractor or urgent care or wherever. Yeah. There's communication between the lawyer and them. But what's the process for the person finding where they want to go?
Well, it depends. We like for the people, our clients, to find their own medical provider, but a lot of our clients, they don't have a primary care physician and they don't really know that many medical providers. Mm-hmm. So, personal injury, our job is dealing with injury victims. So we know a lot of providers. Mm-hmm. So often we're going to call, chiropractors and make sure that we can get our client in for treatment. Another thing that's good with that is, since we deal with so many doctors, we know who's good and we know who might be better than some of the others.
Yep.
Right. So we're going to get them right over to y'all and make sure they get excellent treatment and get taken care of like they need to be.
Yep. That is frustrating. Sometimes I'll have somebody who said, oh yeah, I was in an accident and I went to this place, but they didn't get any better. And I know, and I hear the same thing from people about the same places all the time. And I don't know what that is. I think it's just some places maybe just don't have that high of a standard, or maybe they just don't care as much. I don't know.
I think it's some people, like a lot of offices, they're either jaded, they've been doing it so long, they don't unfortunately don't really care about the client, we're just doing the job. Or there's some that have a stigma. It's a car accident, I don't want to get involved. It's not because they don't believe the person's injured, but if it goes into litigation, that doctor might get subpoenaed for records. They might get have to come do a deposition, testify under oath, and some people are scared about that or uncomfortable, which it is uncomfortable. But what's the number one goal? Make sure that your patient gets better.
Yes.
So if you need to do this as as ancillary, something you might have to do later, that shouldn't scare you away. The focus is making sure this person gets excellent medical treatment and gets better.
I talk to people all the time who had an accident, they didn't get any treatment, and it's 20 years later, and they still have all kinds of issues from the accident, or they have arthritis, or they had whiplash that never got better, or they get headaches that they're still taking medications for. And that drives me crazy. That I always think like, if anything that I can do to help this person right now not have issues for the rest of their life, I'll do it.
And then like the patient, the client, they don't understand the long-term effects off of a minor car accident. You know, I saw a lawyer do this one time at trial, and I was like, oh wow, that makes a lot of sense. The insurance company's lawyer was arguing that the impact wasn't that hard. They were only going like 12 miles per hour when they hit the back of the vehicle. So he had another lawyer sit in a chair, and he went on just push like that real quick.
Yeah.
That's nothing like getting hit by a car.
Right.
But that jerk, what it can do to the human body, the anatomy of the spine, like it's nothing to slip a disc, hit the wrong way off guard.
Right.
Yes.
And I think that was the best illustration I have seen of how a minor auto accident can cause some serious injuries.
Yeah.
And some people don't have the healthiest spines going into an accident either.
Oh, we're all screwed. Like, I mean, I'm 38 and I've lifted weights a large portion of my life. And I know that my back has some stuff going on.
Yep.
I know, but second getting a car accident, you're more susceptible to an injury, whether it's like some type of muscle strain, ligament injury, or forbid herniated disc.
Right. And there's a series out there of research that talked about like as little as 6 miles an hour can create structural damage.
Yes.
So it's articles that when we get cases too, it's like we do flexion extension x-rays. We just want to see because even the look of the car can absorb a lot of the not look that bad, but the patient is absorbing a lot of the issue from that sort of trauma, which is
I had an MRI case where the guy kept saying like, "Oh no, I think it's fine. I think it's fine." I'm like, "Dude, you can barely move your shoulders." Like, "No, I'm fine." Finally convinced him to go get a MRI, and he had a 90% torn rotator cuff. But he was just one of those, those guys that are, I'm okay. Fine. No, don't worry about it. I don't want to be a problem.
I'm
I'll
not bleeding out.
Yeah.
I'm not bleeding out, so I'm good.
Yeah.
And that's another issue I see a lot. People don't want to get the help because they don't want to be a bother. They don't want to seem weak. Like, I don't want to complain. I'm fine. Another thing is people not really understanding what their injury is. Like, so you get in a car accident, you hurt your neck, your back, but you're getting tingling in your fingers.
Right.
Or every now and then you get a numbness, some slight weakness. People just overlook it, ignore it. Like, yo, that's a spine injury. That's a herniated disc on a nerve. Like,
you get an MRI for that. There's herniated discs all the time.
And people just don't know. I think for the most part, people think when you hurt your neck hurts.
Right.
When you hurt your back hurts. Yes, that is a symptom that could present, but you might not have any neck pain. You might not have any back pain, but now your hand just weak.
Right, 100%. And I think too, the ER, though, if they get sent to the ER, they're just looking for major stuff. So they're like, oh yeah, they looked at me at the ER, I had x-rays at the ER. And it's like, well, yeah, you don't have broken bones or internal bleeding, but you may have disc issues and neurological issues.
And it goes to people in today's society often believing people in authority, people you should be able to believe.
Right.
The officer said I was at fault, so I'm at fault. No, they got it wrong this time. The doctor said in the ER said I'm fine. They did x-rays, nothing's going on. Well, x-rays are going to find broken bones, fractures, foreign objects.
Yeah.
CT scan, you might find some bleeding going on. But the MRI is what's really going to show.
Right.
And I've never had a case where somebody went to the ER and was not admitted, and they did an MRI at the ER. That just doesn't work like that.
They never do it.
Yeah.
And sometimes when they're hurt too, they don't even know what happened at the hospital.
Yeah.
I'm asking them, what happened? They're like, I don't know. What did they do? A scan? Maybe. Did they wheel you into somewhere? It sounds right.
And you would think like you don't remember that's a really important thing, and you don't remember what kind of treatment you received or where you. I get a lot of time like I don't know. I don't remember which hospital I went to. Like, dude, this was like a month ago. Like, okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, people, memories are selective.
Yeah.
Now, what is the window? So say you get in an accident or any sort of injury for that matter. What is the window of treatment that they like? What timeline are they allowed to seek treatment? Say a month goes by or 3 months goes by. And they're for a while, they're like, yeah, I felt pretty good. But in this case, my shoulder's now killing me. Can they go seek care and then relate it back to the auto accident or whatever injury?
The further the treatment from the time of the incident, the harder it's gonna be to relate it back to the actual incident. That doesn't mean that somebody's listen to this that shouldn't go get medical treatment.
Right.
Because getting medical treatment, the ultimate goal is to find out what's going on with you and get better. The injury claim is secondary. But I'll say after the first 24 hours, the value of the case starts dwindling down the longer the treatment. And if you go more than like 3-4 days, it's gonna be hard to relate it back. It can happen. I mean, it happens all the time, but it creates an uphill battle.
Right.
And
so at a bare minimum, it's worth them getting checked and at least starting something.
Yes.
And then say they start treatment, within a day or so. How long does it? I mean, and I know it depends on the severity. Like we had a case, gentleman got hit by like a 18-wheeler and was in just really bad shape. And we were slowly but surely getting him. I mean, we were trying to treat him every single day because he was out of town and he wouldn't leave Columbia. He's from
Montana? Yeah.
And he was just like, no, you guys are the only people like getting me better. I'm not going anywhere. And we had to have him on this pretty aggressive treatment regimen. But in our mind, it was like, so he is getting better, but we didn't know the length sometimes where they consider he's reached his medical maximum, showing proof that, and I always give the analogy like, well, if my arm gets lopped off in a car accident, I can't get treated until my arm grows back.
Yeah.
Right. So what is the window of that, or what have you seen in those instances?
All right. So with the maximum medical improvement it depends on the injury and the type of treatment they're receiving. If it might get to a point where you're at maximum medical improvement and the pain is still there, that means it's permanent. You're just going to deal with that. Now you have to figure out how to manage that pain. You don't want to just had a person going for like months and months under treatment and they're not getting any better. Well, they're getting a little better, but it's not resolving the issue.
It's not going away.
Then it's time, I believe that, after like 2 or 3 months of that, it's time to start looking at pain management.
Yep.
Or, is there a surgery that can fix it? And if not a surgery, then pain management. That would be the way I would recommend it goes.
And does a case pay for pain management, or is that something that gets stuck back on the patient?
It depends on the policy. So a minute ago, we were talking about minimum limits, $25,000. Was 20. I'm just going to talk about per person, so $25,000 per person. On a case like that, there's not much medical treatment that can be supported for $25,000. Right. So the client wouldn't be able to treat a bunch under that policy. Let's say it's $1 million policy, then the client would be able to get additional treatment. But once you get above the policy and get the case resolved, hopefully that client has health insurance. And a lot of times our clients don't have health insurance. Right. So then we have to help them get on, Medicaid, or find some type of low cost health insurance so they can continue getting treatment they need.
Yeah. Wow. That's good. I put a couple little notes together here about Gen Z terms. This is taking a little turn.
Okay.
But you said that you're 38. And so that means that you have to deal with people who are way younger than you and way older than you. Mm-hmm. But I've been finding that the terms that Gen Z uses are hard for me to navigate sometimes. Have you found that?
I'm sad to say, nah. I've been
not really. All right, let me ask you a couple. Let me tell you what this. If someone says that's cap,
quit lying, man.
Yeah, you knew that one. All right. If someone said you're standing on business,
I mean, you just can't let people talk to you any which ways. If you say like, "Yo, this is what it is," you got to stand on business.
All right. What about chuggy? That's chuggy.
The hell?
Exactly. That's a new one for me too. Exactly. I know.
Chuggy?
Yeah, chuggy. What's chuggy?
So it's kind of like cringy. It's something that I feel like
cringy.
Is probably used to make fun of millennials and like things like.
Yeah. All right. That's good. So she's saying like something that Gen Z would make fun of millennials if they were doing something really dorky or cringy. Yeah. They'd say that's chuggy.
And I thought I would have expected cringy to be
Right.
one of the terms
Cringy,
used.
yep.
So okay, that
All right.
one got me.
What about stan? What do you stan?
What do I stand? There's some really dope lawyers, especially out of California, that I just stand for them.
Oh.
So I was at a summit.
You knew what
He
that
knows
meant.
his stuff.
Yeah. I was at a summit in Miami the other day, and before so I was living in Atlanta and do a lot of traveling. I'm always seeing celebrities. I don't care. My wife's like, "Oh, that's all." Like, so what? We're in Miami, and I'm seeing these lawyers. I'm talking about $1 billion verdicts out there creating new law. And they're walking by. I'm like freaking out.
That's
like,
cool.
So I stand for lawyers and certain business owners.
Who was the lawyer? Can you say? Or do you
It
not
was,
want
it was,
to?
it was, yeah, I'm going there. I don't want to send them.
You
to
don't-
business. I stand for them, but I need everybody to stand for me.
That's right.
So-
Okay, fair enough.
But I will. Okay, I took another person I stand for. So I got to give a shout out to Derek Hayes and Pinky Cole. They are 2 restaurant owners, business owners out of Atlanta, and recently my business partner, comedian Shula King, and we acquired 5 franchise restaurants.
Really?
Where we're going to be opening up 5 franchise locations across South Carolina. And
Sweet.
Derek, he's CEO and owner of Big Dave's Cheesesteaks. And that's the one
Okay.
that we're bringing to South Carolina. And then there's Pinky Cole, where she's over Slutty Vegan, CEO and owner of Slutty Vegan.
Slutty vegan?
Yeah, they're freaking amazing.
Wait.
Yeah, y'all. We
Let
can
me
talk
write
about
that one down.
We can
Did
talk about
not
that.
see that happening.
But
So the name of the restaurants are Slutty Vegan.
yeah, we walk in, it's like, hey sluts, what are y'all having? You got the one night stand is delicious. You got to get the one night stand. Like the food is amazing. It's all vegan, and it tastes better than regular burgers and fries.
Wow.
So it's
Okay.
dope.
So you're getting into the restaurant world a little bit too. As
Yeah.
a side, are you in it, or are you just? What are you doing with them?
So I'm in it. We're
Okay.
in it. My business partner and I, I'm gonna have an apron on. I'm back there cooking, learn how to do everything.
That's what I was wondering. Yeah.
We're gonna be running the locations.
Wow.
Yeah.
Look at you.
Where are these going to be in South Carolina? Are they like anything in Columbia?
We will have one in Columbia. We'll have at least one in Columbia.
Nice.
Sweet. What about high key?
Oh, high key is like, I'm trying to think. I know high key. I'm trying to think how to explain it. So high key and also low key. So high, like, let's talk about low key first. Like, man, I low key don't even like that. Like something you don't really want to put out there.
Yeah.
But it's something you high key. I'm guessing now because I never used the word high key, but
Yeah.
I know low key.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming
Yeah.
high key.
High key is the opposite.
Right.
Yeah.
Am I right on that one?
Yeah, you are.
Okay. Cool.
I didn't know a good. I was trying to figure out a good sentence to use it in, but
Yeah.
I didn't quite know.
I'm high key excited to be here right now.
Okay.
So-
Yeah, that's good.
There you go.
My kids started using this, and they're 9 and 6. Sus.
Oh, that's sus right there. Like it's something that suspect.
Suspect,
That's something
short
that
for
you're
suspect.
doubting. Like,
Yes.
man, he's acting real sus over there.
Yep, that's good. Big yikes.
Big yikes.
Yep, I just heard big yikes.
I would assume that's something you say
Gross.
yikes, but definitely big yikes.
Bigger?
Like,
Is that right? Is that the right way?
Like gross?
I personally have never used
Yikes, okay.
Yeah.
It's like yikes, but big.
She's our expert.
Yeah, we've got a 21-year-old producer in here, and we're just asking her if he's right or not. All right, that's cool. What about favorite actor? Do you have a celebrity crush? I like getting into that a little bit.
I don't really have a celebrity crush. Like I said before, I like lawyer. I stand over. I'm a stand for a bunch of different lawyers. And without saying one in particular, but any lawyer who has created a name for themselves in a good way, always stand on business.
Yeah.
Getting good results for the clients, changing the way large businesses and corporations operate, so to make sure to put the safety of the public, of people first. Those are the people I crush over.
That's cool. And then kind of shifting gears again, I have all these personal questions I want
Please
to ask
do.
you as well.
Let's talk.
Tom needs some Valentine's Day advice. He's been married for this will be your second Valentine's Day
Yeah.
together.
Yeah.
And how long have you been married for?
5.5 years.
Yeah, so you have all kinds of experience in the Valentine's Day world. What are some do's and don'ts?
Do's. The number one do is do something.
Mhm.
My wife indicated this year that she didn't really want to do anything. She wanted to just keep it low key this time.
That means you gotta do
Yes,
something.
it's a
Yeah,
trap.
She says that.
It's a trap.
She's trying to set me up. I'm not gonna fall for it.
Right.
But I don't know. I would definitely say do something. I'm sure there's some things that she really likes, or even likes a little bit, that you really don't like.
Right.
Do that. Like, if I don't like movies unless it's like an accurate depiction of something in history. Everybody dies, or it's so funny that there's no theme, nothing.
Yep.
Those are the only movies I like.
Yeah, that's
And
good.
she likes, the dramas, the love stories.
Rom-com.
Yeah, so all right, we'll go watch one of those movies.
Oh.
I'll take it, and I just try to do something that I know that she loves, or something that she just likes a little bit and is known that I don't. All right, we're gonna do that.
Yep. That's good.
My friend gave me advice one time. This was the first time I was like getting a birthday gift or something for somebody I was dating for like maybe a month. He said, "Go to Victoria's Secret and just buy something skimpy." And I gave this to this girl, and she said, "What in the hell made you think that this is what I would want?"
That's what I
My
wanted.
friend
That
said-
exactly.
it was my
I think of
friend said.
Valentine's Day as a gift for myself.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
I get it though. That's kind of like Father's Day.
Right.
You might get some tools, some stuff like
Right.
that. Okay, well,
Good.
Valentine's Day. Here's some lingerie.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Absolutely.
That didn't work out, did it?
No.
Okay, I didn't
No,
think so.
All right. I had a question about, so I think the average person wants to know what should we sue for or get lawyers for? And you hear of things like somebody found a finger in their food, or they were drinking a cup of coffee and like a bug crawls out of it, is that something that they're looking for, like that Seinfeld episode, like where it's like, all right, this is where I'm going to make $1 million by suing? But I think it's like you pick the thing out and you just keep going.
Yeah, I don't take those cases.
I was wondering, like,
Can you sue? I would say I want people to call me when they've been seriously injured. Don't worry
mainly
about
just
what
injury.
happened to you.
Right.
If you've been seriously injured, call me and I'll figure it out.
So try to like choke on the finger that's in your salad or something.
If you happen to choke on the finger and it comes right out, just say thank you and don't call me. But if you have to see medical treatment or something really
Right.
bad happens, then call me. Or if you get violently ill after the situation,
Right.
because I know if I was eating some food and somebody's finger was in it,
Right.
I think I would have some emotional distress in my stomach.
That's
would
what I
be-
would, because people use the emotional distress thing a lot, where it was like, yeah, I didn't really get hurt, but like I can't get over in my head. And how do you prove that?
Yeah, I don't represent people for their feelings getting hurt, or for them getting
Right.
sad, or for them feeling upset.
Yeah.
I don't. Emotional distress needs to go with a real injury. If you've been made ill or had to get medical treatment, something really bad happened to you, and the emotional distress so bad you're having trouble sleeping, having to go see a psychologist, any type of therapy, anything like that. That's something I would take. That would be actionable to me. But just because, this could have happened, I could have
Right.
done this.
Right.
I don't take cases for woulda, coulda, shoulda. Something bad had to have happened.
Yeah, that's a
Gotcha.
good policy, because I feel like there's a lot of people that just think everything is emotionally injuring them.
Yes.
Yeah.
Minor car accidents. People talk about emotional distress. If you get in a car accident with an 18-wheeler and it's not that bad, I can see that being emotional distress.
Right.
But if you just get in a regular fender bender or something and you just holler emotional stress, my life is ruined, that's not something that my firm would be able
Right.
to assist with. It bothers me a little bit because I handle so many cases where really bad things have happened to people, and it's like for it to be a minor car accident, I just couldn't represent somebody for emotional
Right.
stress.
Yeah.
I saw this person just lost their loved one. That's emotional stress right there.
Right.
Have you ever had a case that you just wish you did completely different? Or like one that stands out that you were just like, man,
No, because if I ever had a case where I wasn't any case that I have that I'm not 100% sure on what needs to be going on, or if well, let me say this first. We brainstorm. So I have a bunch of other injury lawyers all around South Carolina and Georgia and other states. And if I have some thoughts on, we will bounce ideas off each other's heads.
Right.
But if I ever get one where I'm just not sure about handling, I always associate another law firm on somebody, because I know lawyers like, oh, you sued McDonald's for a similar case like this before. Come associate on this one. And what that is, what happens with the client gets two law firms representing them for the
Right.
price of one. I think some lawyers I think don't like doing that because then you got to split the fee. But I could care less about the money.
Right.
My practice has been blessed. My law practice isn't my only source of income. I have other businesses. My only goal with the firm is to make sure the clients get the most amount of money recovered, and I don't care if that means I got to split the attorney's fee. I mean, just get the client the result they need.
Yeah, great, nice. And then what ultimately made you want to be a lawyer?
So I have no idea. 3rd grade, they could say what you want to be when you grow up.
Yeah.
And my mom had the paper. I said, I want to be a lawyer. I didn't know any
No
lawyers.
kidding.
I'm like I'm watching Matlock, and I don't know. And and then growing up, like, all right, I'm gonna go to law school. And then by the time I got to high school, man, my grades were trash.
Yeah.
I was getting in trouble. Yeah. And then my high school girlfriend found out she was pregnant. My last semester of high school.
Wow.
So I had a child on the way. So then I'm like, all right, you know what? No law school. So I ended up going to college, going to University of South Carolina. I'm going full time, working 2 jobs.
Yeah.
My son was born my 2nd month of undergrad, September 23rd, 2003. So I honestly forgot about law school. I had no thoughts of going to law school anymore. Fast forward, I graduate and I get a job at Verizon Wireless Call Center. And some lawyer out of Atlanta calls issues for his cell phone with his law firm. So I'm sitting there talking with him, and the goal is to get people on and off the phone call like 3 minutes.
Yeah.
Man, me and this dude on the phone for like 20 minutes. They're about ready to fire me, I'm sure. I don't care. Because in my mind, during that phone call, I quit my job. I quit Verizon Wireless. I didn't put my 2 weeks in yet. But I got off work that night. I went, I signed up for Kaplan for the LSAT prep.
Yeah.
Bought all the study materials. And I told myself, I'm going to law school.
Wow. No kidding. That's a wild
Do you know
story.
who the guy is?
I can't remember his name now, but I ended up going to law school in Atlanta. He was in Atlanta, and I did reach out to him. And I know lawyers are really busy, but he kind of played me to the side a little bit. So, okay, whatever. So I don't remember him anymore.
That's wild.
Wow.
But he helped me.
Yeah.
He changed the course of your life.
He did.
Wow.
And then you're a big car guy. I wanted to hit on what's your favorite car? What got you into cars too?
I just always loved cars and guns. I just love cars and guns. But I was that
You
weird.
like building them and working on them and that kind of stuff too?
I love building them. Because when I was in high school, I always had like the best car in the school. So at one point this is embarrassing, but let's go for it. So I had a Honda Accord and it had the 20-inch spinning rims.
Yeah.
All right. This was back when spinning rims first came out. So it was cool then. No cap, but it had like, I won't forget how many TVs. It was like a ridiculous numbers of TVs. I'm like steering wheel. There's TVs everywhere.
Black lights in there somewhere.
Black lights. It was tricked out. Car shows.
Big subwoofer.
Oh yeah. Then I had and I built it myself.
Yeah.
And then I had a '86 Cutlass Supreme with hydraulics, candy paint. Like I've probably had like a dozen cars. But of course, those cars are a little bit different from the cars I'm into now. So now I'm into supercars, and then also old school muscle cars. So I recently got a McLaren 600 LT, which is like that's my baby. And now I'm looking at. I fell in love with I love Lamborghinis too, but I don't need 2 supercars. So I'm kind of leaning towards getting a Lamborghini Urus. It's a supercar, but it's an SUV.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, I'm pretty sure I got an X6M now. I'm pretty sure I'm gonna trade that in and just get the Lamborghini.
Nice.
So if you were to look at us, what kind of cars would suit us the best?
Should chiropractors
I don't
drive?
know. Yeah. Or it could be chiropractors or even just us in general. Like what would we look good sitting in?
Man, I mean, anytime you get a sports car, I wouldn't say a Corvette, but because y'all guys still young, maybe another 20 years, go for the Corvette.
Yeah.
but it's almost impossible to hop out of like a Lamborghini Ferrari or McLaren and not look cool.
Right.
Well, I'm gonna say it's impossible to sit in one and not look cool. Getting in and out, it's very uncool.
It's hard.
Like how the things
You gotta be flexible.
crawl out the thing. Like it sucks so bad. But like everybody like always had like I pull up like videos and pictures, and I gotta wait for them to stop before I get out because like this shit looks horrible. I don't know. I don't know what that was. Am I allowed to curse on here?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh,
Yeah.
I've been biting my tongue the whole time. Oh, thank you. I feel free now.
You're free. But we only have like 3 minutes left, so
Oh shit. Got one in.
there goes. Let loose.
No, I'm cool if there's anything else to talk about. I know I had that other appointment to get to, but it'll be okay.
Well, I guess what's your vision? So you're getting into other businesses, right?
Yes.
Is there any
Vegan food,
I
cheesesteaks,
love going over to the
injury
vegan food,
attorneys,
but I
vehicles.
couldn't sell vegan food because I'm just like the whole vegan thing gets me. I love steaks. I love meat.
Yes.
No
Yeah.
disrespect to the vegans, man,
Yeah.
but those slutty vegan burgers are delicious. Like I'm saying, go Google it, man. It's hilarious.
Yeah, it
and her
seems
marketing,
funny.
they're geniuses.
The thing about vegans is the minute they meet anybody, they tell everybody that they're
I'm
a vegan. Yeah.
I'm like,
Hi, nice to meet you. I'm vegan.
I am
no,
a
I asked what
slutty
your name
vegan.
was.
like what's your
I'm
name?
also slutty.
It's like a good first date spot.
I'm like, yeah, I'm vegan. I'm like, okay, cool. And I'm slutty. I'm like,
Oh, okay.
oh,
We can work with that.
Got the perfect restaurant.
But nah, so my firm, I'm licensed in South Carolina, Georgia. We have the 2 offices right now in South Carolina.
Do you have an office in Columbia?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
perfect.
It's-
And that's maybe tell everyone where that is.
1530 Richland Street.
Okay.
It's right downtown across the street from Spotted Salamander. I love shouting out other businesses more than I love talking about my business. So Spotted Salamander, amazing lunch.
Mhm.
Oh.
In fact, that's how I got my building. I was over there eating lunch and I looked across the street and I saw that it was available. I was, oh shit, here we go. But yeah, we're right over there. Main Street, North Main Street in Sumter, South Carolina, my hometown. We had our office in Atlanta, but during COVID we shut that down. And I'm pretty sure I'm about to open it back up this year.
Really?
Because it's, we got a lot of business, but not many people were coming to the office. Just like I had an office in Orangeburg, and for one whole year it was open, only 6 people ever actually physically
Walked
came
in,
in.
yeah.
Yeah, because I do stuff, video, text message, phone calls. Clients, you already been injured. You don't got to like come see me. I'll come
Right.
see you if need be.
Right, which that's cool. A lot of people don't know that too, because you get in an accident, your car is totaled.
Yeah, how you gonna
Often
how gonna get to
you
me?
would go to them.
Yes.
Yeah.
If anybody needs it, if need be, we go to the clients. Video calls. If client wants to come in and see the office, please do. The office is amazing. I've turned it into an art gallery. So I got a whole bunch of art
Nice.
commissioned from different artists.
Really?
Local artists. Aja Charles, she just delivered a piece she did last Wednesday. Amazing. It's getting
Sweet.
framed now, about to go up.
Really?
So I was in,
Is she from she's from Columbia?
Yeah.
We should have her on the pod. Would you
You
get on the
really should.
podcast?
She's amazing. She's
Yeah.
a beautiful person.
What kind
her
of stuff is she doing?
personality.
Is it the stuff where you just like splash on the wall?
No, she does a lot of.
Not
Which
that,
is
not that
cool.
that's bad. Not that that's bad. But
Just get artists started flinging paint. But nah, she does a lot of murals, portrait style art.
Cool.
Is if you go downtown, right across from like Market on Main, there's like a big wall with a bunch of art on it.
Oh,
She
yeah.
did that piece.
kidding.
She's pretty dope.
That
She's
is cool.
dope and young, self-taught artist. I think like 23.
College is overrated these days.
College is very overrated.
Crazy.
College was a secure thing back in the day.
Yes, when we were younger,
you
no
had to go to
brainer.
college.
Yep.
Mhm.
Now, like my son, and he was trying to tell me, like, I don't want to go to college. It's a scam, this, that. And I'm like, no, it's not. And then he starts talking. I'm like,
Kind of.
damn.
Yeah,
You're
he's
like,
right.
yeah.
You're still going. You're still going, man. My son, but like, yeah, he had to go anyway because he's smart as shit. He was a biomedical engineer.
Oh, wow.
He was freaking out because he got his associate's degree before he got his high school diploma.
Dang.
But he had his first year at the University of Texas last semester. And he's freaking out. I'm a flunk out. He got 3 A's and 2 B pluses. Like, dude, you're smarter than your father
Right.
ever was.
It's cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, we
Nice.
just started talking. I forgot even what the question
Yeah.
was. I started
I don't
talking. and
remember
shit.
either.
It was just more like what the vision for your life is.
Oh yeah, we got to grow the firm some more.
Yeah.
I don't want to be one of those huge mega law firms. That's
Yep.
I need to still know each of my clients, be able to talk to each of my clients. But right now, I think there's 12 of us in the firm. I do want to double that size over the next few years. I have the restaurant business that will be opening 5 locations over the next 4 to 5 years. something new. That this is actually the first time I've ever said this part of it.
Nice.
But I have a marketing company, and nobody knows I own it.
Sweet.
And it's been
Really?
and I'm building that up, and I'm gonna start actually launching it out more locally later this
Cool.
year, first part of next year.
You waited to announce that on Columbia's hottest podcast.
Smart.
You've
Yeah,
been
smart
saving that
marketing.
for a
the
while.
sexiest podcast out.
That's
You know,
smart
about that.
marketing.
So it's like, I grew my law firm very fast, and I did it myself. All the marketing, like who does handle your billboards, radio? I do all of that. So I'm like, oh, if I can do it myself, then I can do it for other people. Help them increase their business and increase their revenue, and also make another revenue stream for myself.
Right.
So,
Love it.
You should call it marketing, but the K should be a C.
So I'm not going to say which TV station, but a TV station made a proposal for me for running,
Really?
and they said marketing strategy.
They did?
They did it. So yeah, I got to give them that.
Anyone else that you think we should have on our podcast? You seem like you're a pretty well connected guy in this community.
Let me see. Dog, I'm on the spot. Usually I'm pretty good
All
on
right,
the spot.
so you can tell us after, too. You don't
I'm
have
send a
to-
list
yeah, it doesn't
because
have-
I can think of some pretty dope people. I don't know if y'all have had any realtors on here, but that'll be Ken Walker is real good. James Means, I think those two would be really good on the show.
Okay.
Ken Walker is like he's a influencer.
Oh yeah.
Right.
I don't know.
Ken he like grew like fast. He goes around to all the restaurants and reviews them or any businesses. Yeah, I've seen his stuff.
Yeah. So realtors, that's always dope. I'm pretty sure there's some other lawyers out here that'll be pretty cool. Yeah, I don't know.
Okay.
I'm gonna think
Let
about
us
it.
know.
We'll
Let us
just
know
do it.
after. That was on the spot.
Yeah, because this was actually pretty fun.
Yeah. All right. Cool.
Yeah.
What?
And then how do people find you? Websites.
Please, my main social media, I'm on all social media, is abbreviated attorney.Marc Brown. So ATTY period Marc MARC Brown. So it's Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn if you're boring like that. I'm on that TikTok too, but
Yes.
Really?
I suck at that. Like I don't even know how to use it.
TikTok's tough.
Yeah.
But I'm about to learn. So, but follow me on Instagram. Instagram is my main social media
You've got cool
platform.
stuff on Instagram too. You've got photos of accidents, and then you talk about it in
Yeah.
like in half the screen as the accident's happening.
Yeah, because so all my stuff was for last year was like informational. But I wanted to add more personality to it because this is a serious topic when somebody's getting injured. But I wanted the videos I showed are people that aren't really getting injured. Just accidents happen in funny situations, so I can put some humor with those.
Yeah.
Also, just my normal lifestyle. Like before, it's just all work, but now I'm like, nah, I have fun too. So, and people, that was a lot of things people saying like, hey, Marc, this is your personal account that you turn to like a business account.
Yeah.
Where's Marc? Where's Marc?
Yeah.
So now I am going to start. That's why you see the cars, more restaurants, travel. I'm going to start posting more of that stuff. So please, everybody could follow me on Instagram.
And you had a video on there getting adjusted. I saw it too from someone in. Was that in Atlanta that you were getting adjusted?
That was in Atlanta. There's this chiropractor Crackwood Dro in Atlanta. And I don't know how he got in my algorithm a while back. So I started following him. And those videos were so entertaining. And yeah, I didn't believe. Because I hadn't been adjusted before.
Yeah.
So
That was your first adjustment?
that was
on
my
there?
first adjustment.
No way.
And I was like, when I heard that first pop, I was scared as shit. I was, did I die? Like, but it was a dope experience.
Was it a good experience?
It was a good experience.
Yeah, I was curious about that. But I didn't know that you hadn't been adjusted before that.
Yeah, that was my first
Yeah,
time.
that's it. And you went to the celebrity guy with. So you had microphones on, probably.
Yeah,
and there's cameras all over the place.
And I'm like, oh, okay, this is cool.
Kind of a terrifying way to get adjusted for the first time, just right in the.
I know, because I'm not a selfish person, so I always want to look out for my family. And I figured if I was gonna die, we can get it all on camera. At least there would be like a lawsuit, and they would all get rich.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Share the wealth, man.
That's fair enough. All right, I think that's it then. We appreciate you being on
Yeah,
here.
good
We know you're a
stuff,
busy guy. You got all kinds of things going on. So
Nah.
thanks for doing this.
I appreciate the invite. It's been an honor, and I look forward to seeing the additional podcasts coming after this one.
All right, appreciate it.
All right. Take care.
We're here for the health of it.
For the health of it.